Cambridge Academic IELTS Book 19 Writing Test 2 Questions and Answers from Traveller's Guide IELTS. So in this video we're going to look at Task 1 and Task 2 of the second writing test in the Cambridge IELTS 19 book. Let's have a look then at the first part. So Task 1, you should spend about 20 minutes on this task. Remember, this one is worth 1/3 of your final mark. The question says, the plans below show a harbour in 2000 and how it looks today. Summarise the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Write at least 150 words. And then we're provided with two pictures. One is Porth Harbour in the year 2000, and then the second one is Porth Harbour today. So at first glance we can see that the pictures are fairly similar. The shapes of the landmass more or less the same. Main road down the west side of the picture. There is also a compass there pointing north, south, east and west. So we're going to put that into our answer as well. Okay, we can see that some things have stayed the same, but a lot of things have changed. So take a few minutes to, or if you were doing the writing test, you'd take a few minutes to just look at the pictures, maybe jot down some ideas, and then start to formulate it into a short essay. Let's have a look at the sample answer I have prepared. You can pause the video and look at the pictures for longer if you wish. Here's my sample answer. There have been a number of changes to the layout of Porth Harbour between the year 2000 and the present day, which can be seen in the pair of diagrams provided. Okay, so this is my overview. Not exactly an introduction, but just going to tell what I'm going to talk about, and I'm mentioning the pictures. I've also got the name of the harbour in there and the years, and changed today to present day, that sort of thing. All right, now to describe these changes. Perhaps the biggest change was in the southeast corner of the harbour. Back in 2000 there was an abandoned castle there, but nowadays this has been transformed into a hotel. The small strip of beach area close to the hotel is now a private beach, having previously been for public use. There is still a public beach to the north of the harbour though. There have been changes within the harbour itself too. First of all, an additional dock has been added, allowing more space for boats to land. On the opposite side of the harbour, a number of shops and cafes have been built. Meanwhile, the two large docking areas in the west of the harbour have swapped functions. What was once the area for fishing boats now hosts private yachts, and vice versa. The two car parking areas are still there, but the access road to the southernmost one now comes off the main road instead of the road to the hotel. Between the two car parks, a second shower and toilet block has been installed. The lifeboat station, on the other hand, has not changed over the time frame. Okay, let's just have a look at some of this essay then. So I decided to focus first of all on the change from castle to hotel. I think that sort of stands out as a very obvious change, and it links in with the smaller of the beaches. So I decided to focus on that first. I've used the compass directions to point out where the castle was in the southeast. In the picture it talks about the castle as being disused. I've changed that to abandoned. We're not sure if it's ruined or not. That's not clear, but that's another thing you could perhaps have said. I've used the word transformed there instead of changed into. And I've just mentioned the public beach to the north that's actually not on the map, but there's an arrow pointing towards it, still being the same. Then I've written this phrase, allowing more space for boats to land. That's just the definition of what a dock is. So I'm using some of my own knowledge there just to add. No, you don't need to give reasons or explanations, but it can just make make the flow of the essay work a little bit better and show you know what you're talking about. I've said a number of cafes and shops. We don't know how many, it's just a block of cafes and shops. So just put a number of, that's quite general. And here I've used the phrase vice versa. This is actually a Latin phrase that we use in English, meaning the opposite is also true. Okay. And then I've got the word southernmost here for the one that is most south. Okay, so there are 2 car parks. And I've decided to finish off just by mentioning something that has not changed. We did mention a couple of things before, but there we go. There's no conclusion to a Task 1 essay. You can just stop when you get to the end. You don't need to put a summary or conclusion in there for this. And again, I've put no opinions, no reasons, no examples, no experience, and that's all Task 2. Okay, this was a total of 223 words. Remember, it said at least 150, so here we are well over the lower limit. Let's now go on and look at Task 2. So Task 2 of writing Test 2 in IELTS Book 19 starts with the usual, you should spend 40 minutes on this task and write about the following topic. Remember that Task 2 is worth 2/3 of your final score, and it's longer. It should be at least 250 words, as it says at the bottom. The question for this essay is, the working week should be shorter and workers should have a longer weekend. Do you agree or disagree? Okay, so we have a statement there. This might be someone's opinion, but it's asking you if you agree with this or if you disagree with it. Make sure that you are very clear on your opinion and that the things you say always come back to support the opinion that you have said. Okay. And it also says, give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. That bit is also the case. Now, if you want to have a go at writing an essay yourself, you can pause the video here, write the essay, and then see my example. Otherwise, let's have a look at my sample answer. In recent years, there has been growing debate over whether the standard working week should be shortened to allow for a longer weekend. While some argue that maintaining the current work schedule is essential for productivity and economic growth, I firmly believe that a shorter work week would lead to numerous benefits for both individuals and society as a whole. One of the primary reasons for advocating a shorter work week is the positive impact it could have on workers' mental and physical health. Many studies have shown that long working hours contribute to stress, burnout, and other health issues, which not only harm individuals but also increase healthcare costs and absenteeism. Allowing workers more time to rest and engage in personal activities could significantly reduce these negative effects, leading to healthier, more balanced lives. Furthermore, a well-rested workforce is often a more productive one. Employees with adequate time for relaxation and self-care are more likely to return to work feeling energized, focused, and motivated. In addition to health benefits, a shorter working week could enhance productivity and efficiency. Research has indicated that productivity does not necessarily increase with longer hours. In fact, beyond a certain point, productivity may decline due to fatigue and decreased concentration. Countries that have experimented with shorter work weeks, such as Sweden and Iceland, have reported improved employee satisfaction and productivity without a loss in output. Therefore, by reducing the number of working days, companies could potentially see better performance from their employees, thus maintaining or even enhancing overall productivity levels. However, some argue that reducing the work week could lead to financial challenges for businesses and governments, as shorter hours might necessitate hiring additional workers or paying overtime to meet demand. While this concern is valid, it is important to note that many companies could adapt to these changes by implementing flexible work models, such as staggered shifts or remote work, which have already proven effective during recent years. Additionally, investing in the well-being of workers may reduce turnover and training costs, helping companies retain skilled employees over the long term. In conclusion, I strongly believe that the working week should be shortened to allow for a longer weekend. The potential benefits, including improved health, increased productivity, and stronger social connections, far outweigh the potential downsides. As society continues to prioritise well-being and work-life balance, adopting a shorter work week could represent a positive and progressive change for modern workplaces. Okay, and that is a total of 406 words, again, well over the 250 minimum. Let's have a look then at some of the details. So here we have my introduction. I've used the wording from the question, but changed the vocabulary. There's not much, it's not a very long question to work on, so I've had to add in some more ideas as well. And here I've got my opinion clearly displayed, I firmly believe. Okay. Now, I've chosen to go with the reasons for this in my first paragraph. I'm thinking about, let's see, we're thinking about stress, mental health, burnout, other health issues. So that's the main focus there. And I have some vocabulary there like absenteeism. Being absent from work means you're not there, whether it's off sick or having to take holidays for other reasons might be reduced if people had longer weekends. Okay. Also, I wanted to point out here at the end, I've used this phrase, so more likely to return to work feeling energized, focused, and motivated. This is something that we call the rule of three or triadic structure, when you use three examples there to illustrate your point. It works really well for the flow of the essay. And okay. Next, we're then thinking about productivity and efficiency, which some people might think would suffer due to shorter work weeks, but then I've cited a couple of examples where this has been shown to be effective in Sweden and Iceland. Now, when you're in the exam room writing an essay, you can't look up examples. This is a test of your English, so even if this is not exactly true, it sounds like it could be true, and it's more about the English you're using instead of the facts. I'm not quoting a person or the name of a study, just the name of some countries, which I do know that they have. Scandinavian countries do have different working week lengths than the UK, for instance. So I've quoted them. Then I have tried to think about the other side of the argument. So yes, other people might have a different opinion. So I have mentioned this, but I've then gone on to say that it's not really something that I consider to be a big problem. I've talked about flexible work models, turnover, that's when people leave to go to a new job, and retain, the verb meaning to keep someone. Okay, make sure you're using employees and employers correctly within your passage if you're using both terms. And then finally, I've finished off with a conclusion, starting with in conclusion. So it's clear that this is a conclusion. Again, I have restated my opinion. I strongly agree. And I've just summarised what I've talked about in the essay. Health, productivity, social connections, outweighing the downsides. I'm not introducing new ideas in the conclusion. Okay, and thinking about prioritising well-being and work-life balance. Work-life balance is a nice phrase that a lot of people use at the moment, so this is a current popular phrase, so try and put those in where you can. Okay, so that is the end of my example answers. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you found some of this useful and that there are some ideas that you can use in there for yourself. Good luck with your ongoing studies. Please press the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and leave a comment with your opinions below. Thanks and goodbye.